Ah, I think it's working. Oh my gosh. I've been trying to get this going for some time now, and my computer has been doing whatever my computer wants to do. So that's kind of annoying. So, how's everybody doing? Oh, hello. Here I am. Welcome to live chat. Yeah. Um, so yeah, this is pretty awesome. I was gonna you're not gonna believe this, folks, but I was going to do this like later in the week. And then I realized about the holiday, and there isn't really going to be a good time to do anything because of the holiday. So I just said, screw it and let's do it. Ah, so how's everybody doing? Yes, damn you, computer, behave yourself. I don't know if it's my computer as much as it is the internet. Um, typically, hello, Jess. Typically, when there is not a holiday for me, um, when there's a holiday, because most of the places up here are like vacation rentals and like Airbnbs and shit. Um, Once everybody gets up here, like the internet situation completely gets trashed. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, and um, I think that people will be here until like Tuesday. And that's terrifying because they got here on Thursday. It seemed like everyone took like Thursday and Friday off to come have a long weekend. Um, so that's very troubling to me. It trips me out quite a bit. So, um, but yeah, so the reason we're here is to talk about anxious anxiety. Early stories, 2007 to 2013. Hey, Jason, how you doing, man? Um, this is just some weird crap I wrote. I even have a new introduction in there. No, but like a lot of this stuff in an ebook form. This book came out in like I guess 2013, 2012, 2013. Was it 2012? Might have been 2013. Um, and it was a little different. Obviously, the introduction wasn't there, but I was really into the kind of the Kindle Gold Rush, like that whole big boom of ebooks and all the stuff you did on Amazon. And back then, and I'm sure it's still kind of the same way. I mean, maybe Jason would be able to actually answer this question for me. But back then, way back then, we had to code our ebooks like it was like building a website. Like you couldn't just like open up whatever program you were in and then go, oh, save as an EPUB or save as a Mobi. And so you had to do a lot of coding. So every time you made an ebook, there was tons of trial and error on like making hyperlinks to chapters work and all this other stuff. But the other thing about it was because this was all so new, Amazon didn't really have like good categories, I guess. And the way their keywords worked was kind of a mystery. Like Now we know that certain genres have certain keywords that you can use. And then if you use another genre's keyword that isn't one of the genres you've picked, that keyword is basically useless. Like there's like a way to do things on Amazon, and it still isn't perfect, but the also bots um, kind of dictate how all that goes. So anyway, that's how all that went down. But when I put this book out, this little collection here, the stories were very different, and I don't know if it's still a term and if it even means the same thing as it used to, but like I would consider a lot of this like bizarro, if that's even a thing. Like I really just don't know. Um, and so it's kind of weird because like now, like you would think, let me see, I do indeed remember coding my ebooks. Dude, tell me about it. Who was that guy? There was this dude that had a blog that was like the shit when it came to like how to help you code your fucking ebooks. Oh, I think his name started with a G. I want to say like Guido Hinkle, but I'm probably completely wrong on that. But like every time I put a book out, because that was when I was doing like an ebook every month or trying to, and then when I started doing the serials, it was every week. But yeah, man, I was on that guy's blog constantly trying to do that. Fucking madness, dude. Anyway, that's super fun. But so is bizarro still a term? And what's the difference between bizarro and weird fiction? Like, is there did he write a series of Sherlock Holmes stories? He might have. Um, is that the right name? Did I say like wow? That's going to be shocking if I pulled a name out of my ass from like what, like 10 years ago. That's going to be pretty awesome. But I wasn't going to do this, but I was hey man, how you doing? Coming off of one, coming to say hello on another. Um, oh, and another. Noah, I wanted to talk to you actually, and since you're here and everyone is just hanging out, you were talking about Philip K. Dick. Have you read? I can't remember the name of the story, but do you remember the story, or have you read the story of his that's told from the point of view of a dog, and the dog's like seen people like come and go, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it's just called like Rough or like Bark or something. Anyway, I've been wanting to talk to you about it because everyone who I thought had maybe read that story, it turns out they don't like Philip K. Dick after all. So I'm trying to discuss that story with somebody because I think it's much more ambiguous than people. Yeah, I'll try to figure out the name of it. This is stupid that I can't remember it. Like, I don't know what's going on in my brain, but like there were so many books and stories that I wanted to like throw out, and I just like there was nothing there. But anyway, so I don't think I've read that Dick story. There was one about a cat on a spaceship, but that's obviously something different. Yeah, this story is about a dog, and he is like terrified that there's going to be like robbers coming in. And when the trash truck comes, he looks at the trash truck as like this monster, and the people are like taking their owners' stuff kind of thing. And then the way it ends, like, I feel like you could take a few different interpretations from it. But anyway, so I was going to actually read this like 2-page story right here to give you an idea of what this is like. But I want to dedicate this story now to Mr. Mark Richardson. So it's called The Drop. I pulled into the back behind the police station. My nerves hit the high point when I saw the SWAT team van resting in its parking space. I parked a sufficient distance away from the front of the building so no one would come snooping around my car. I always hated that this place shares a parking lot with the police station. You have to walk right by it in order to get inside. I got out of my car and stared hard across the parking lot to the building that I was headed. I took a deep breath, I hit off my cigarette, and was about to throw it on the ground when I realized that there wasn't another butt on the ground anywhere. And if I were to throw this smoke down on the ground, cops would swarm me like crabs on a whore. They were probably watching me. I looked around at the rooftops and also at the lampposts for surveillance cameras. Those bastards were good. I couldn't find one anywhere. Against my better judgment, I took one last drag and dropped the cigarette on the ground and stepped on it. I made sure it was out so that I couldn't be accused of arson. I waited around for a moment to make sure that no one was watching so that I could say something like, I was just about to pick it up and put it in my pocket. I never litter. I actually collect butts and use them in modern art pieces that I sell to the wealthy and then donate that money to children's hospitals. That was a good one, I thought. I almost wanted to get caught for that one small moment, just so that cop could feel like shit for trying to bust me. The cop would end up saying something like, wow, that's terrific. I'm sorry, sir. It's just that it's so hard to keep this place clean. I know, I would say. Then he would also ask, I would love to donate to the children's hospital. I don't know much about modern art, though. Of course you don't, I would say. Then I would say, I really wish I could help you, but us cops don't get... Oh, and then he would say, I'm sorry. I really wish I could help you, but us cops don't get paid that much, you know? Yes, times are tough, I would say. So I walked across the vacant parking lot. The Ralph's grocery store plastic bag that I was carrying was about to rip and spill its contents all over the hot asphalt. I walked faster. I noticed that they put in new restrooms outside the building. They looked like they might very well be on the cleaner side of public restrooms. If I'm ever in the area when I really have to take a shit, this would be a very good place to stop. There were only a few people around, an old man pacing back and forth, a short Mexican sitting under a tree, and one fellow of some sort of Asian descent walking ahead of me. His pace was much slower than mine. This could get ugly. Suddenly it dawned on me how quiet it was there. The silence of that place began to register in my head in a deafening level. I was right on the man's heels now. As we approached the building, I saw a fork in the road. There was a stairway up to the front door to the right and a handicap ramp to the left. The Asian man was slow, but my God, I didn't believe him to be handicapped. I thought I would go left when he would go to the right, and I would blow right by him, up the ramp. 3, 2, 1, the man took the ramp. I was so close behind him that I didn't have time to change my course. I was already committed to the ramp. I was moving at a very slow speed up the long ramp. There were old black blotches on the ground, Bubble gum from years ago. I hadn't been there since I was a child, and I wonder if any of those black splotches were from me. We hit the top. We hit the top, and I stopped daydreaming. The man went for the door. What a sucker, I thought. I ran over to the night drop box, reached out and pulled. Nothing. It was locked. I would have to go inside. I walked slowly up to the door. I had to act cool, or else they would be suspicious of me. I tried to talk myself down. It wasn't working. I opened the door and walked in. The girl behind the counter was locked on her computer. That was good. To the right of her was a big sign that read, "Book drop. Score." The other man was still on his way to the computer. He placed his books on the counter, but then the librarian said that he could just give them to her and she'll check them in right then. Then she looked at me and said, "You could just put those over here and I'll check those in for you too." I was caught. No getting out of it. If I could get all of the books out of the bag before she checked in the other man's books, I'd be fine. Walked up to the counter. The man handed her 2 books. 2 books, I said to myself. Fuck, I had to hurry. My bag wasn't helping. It wanted me to get caught. It was trying to hold the books inside so that I would get caught. The motherfucking piece of shit bag. I only had 2 of the 15 books out of the bag before she finished with the other man. She looked at me, and I ripped the bag apart like a strong man ripping a phone book. I slapped all the books down on the counter and took a step back. She picked up one of my books and said, "Wow, how did you get all those books in there?" I started backpedaling to the door. I was very nervous, very shaky. I meant to talk, but I yelled my response. "It wasn't easy!" I turned and ran out the door just as I heard her little magic pen with the red laser tell her as it glided across my book that I now owed them money. I ran for a moment, then knew that they would be watching for that. So my run turned into a very nervous power walk. I tried to keep looking over my shoulder. I tried to keep the looking over my shoulder to a minimum, but I knew that there would be people out there any second once they saw that those books were a week late. At 25 cents per day for each book, that's a killing. There were fewer cars in the parking lot than when I got there. I could hear my heartbeat. I could feel it in my eardrums, pulsing through my head. It felt like my car was getting farther and farther away from me, almost like I was on a treadmill, not going anywhere. I couldn't take it anymore, and I ran as fast as my fat legs would take me. I got to my car and began fumbling for my keys. And then I saw it. I looked down on the ground. I panicked. Sweat poured down my face. My blood pressure rose so high that my pulse had drowned out all other noise. I screamed a little, but I couldn't hear over the sound of my amplified heartbeat. On the ground next to my car were 2 cigarette butts. Someone had been there. My breath was quick and shallow. I was dizzy. So, that was the drop from Anxious Anxiety. Let me get in here. I don't own it. He wrote so many. The dog story sounds awesome. I might be reading some more Dick Shorts soon. So maybe that one will come up. Rug! That's right. Jess, thank you. Rug. I shouldn't have yelled Rug. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. I read a story about short dicks on a spaceship. Nice. Okay. Loving this story. Thank you. Yeah. So that I wrote that like that's probably the earliest story in there. So like I would say 2007. But yeah. So a lot of the stories are kind of sort of about simple, mundane things. Thank you, Noah. But told from it wasn't easy, it made me laugh, snort very loudly. Yeah, it happens, man. No, it's just there was a very long part of my life where doing normal things that every person does every day to me was like the hardest thing in the world to do. And it was like every single bit of my life became almost like a weird little Twilight Zone episode or like a weird little horror movie. It's not so bad now, although sometimes that does come up. Like it feels like that sometimes. But yeah, it's just it's weird when you have like crippling anxiety. Everyday things become some horrific event. Like there's so many times when like I would just be like in a grocery store or going to pay a bill or something like that, and I would feel like at any moment I could turn and see like Rod Serling there talking to a camera, like, and just like have that be like one of the most normal things to happen in my day, like knowing that that's kind of the thing that happens next, you know. Let's see what we got here. I was just about to make a short dicks comment. Dude, you know what's so funny? I'm sitting there reading a story about like being so anxious and nervous of getting caught that you're like sweating and your pulse is going. So the whole time, I don't know if it was just because of the weather or if I'm sitting here actually going, okay, and I'm like dripping sweat right now reading that story. Oh, horrific. But anyway, so yeah, and some of the stuff lends itself to sci-fi. In fact, there's one story in there called The Master, the Android, and the Garlows that I've had published in a bunch of different like websites and zines and sci-fi collections. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, anxiety is probably one of the most it's just a fucking horror story, you know, like doing anything just makes you a part of a Twilight Zone episode. So anyway, so what I wanted to do, I'm gonna give maybe one or two of these away. We'll see how I'm feeling. So these are again numbered and signed, limited to 50. No, actually, that's not true. Limited to 48, because for some reason, the pack of 50 pieces of cardstock for this cover, there was actually only 48 in there. So it's 48, limited to 48. So 1 of 48 and 2 of 48 I'll be giving away right now. So the question is, you have to guess, and if you're crafty, you'll probably figure it out anyway. But how many short stories are in Anxious Anxiety in this collection? If you could tell me, the first one to tell me, I'll send you a copy of that. And now the clock ticks. More anxiety. Very close, both of you. Oh, shit. Not so close, that one. We have a winner. Jess got it right, 11. But now I'm feeling kind of stupid because I feel like I need to check. So maybe you didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 11. Jess, you won. You are the wiener. Congratulations. How long is that story? It's really weird because in going back and reading these stories, there's so many things. And this is probably a really good thing, actually. In reading these stories that were written back then, there's so many things that like are probably not PC now. And in reading it, there are words that I wouldn't choose now if I was writing these stories. And there was a part of me that wanted to edit all that stuff out that I felt was a little too much. But I kind of feel like that would be wrong because I kind of like the idea, for at least just me, seeing how far I've come as a human since I wrote those stories, you know? There's just some stuff in there, man. And I'm just like, God, I would never say that today. And most people wouldn't either. But it was just like normal way of speech. I don't know. Very problematic, guys. But that's okay. Most things are, right? Okay, so let me look for something here. Oh, wait, no, it'd be over here. Wow. That's pretty long. Sorry, I was just looking through that and seeing what that is. So, Jess, you have to email me your address so I could send that to you. And okay, and then to do the second one, Jess, you can't answer this. You can't win twice. Okay. I need you guys to tell me a word that rhymes with the color of this cover. The word doesn't even have to be real. First one to do it. Boom! And that was the exact word that I was thinking. Dink. And let me tell you guys what else. Now, a lot of this is based on internet connection, so that sucks, and I'm sorry. But dink, that was the word my mother used to talk about my business down front. So, like, this is horribly embarrassing. Okay. So, like, if I would be going to take a shower, my mom would say, make sure you wash your dink. Does this happen to anybody? Is anyone's mom that concerned about how well you take care of your front butt? Good Lord, what am I talking about? Why am I still making my mouth move? Oh, this is horrendous, guys. My mom never told me to wash my dink. Well, Jess, that's probably a good thing, because if your mom told you to wash your dink, there'd probably be a few more problems in the old problem portfolio than are in there now. So yeah, that's amazing. Good stuff. Well, that was horribly embarrassing. I can't believe my mouth kept going there. Well, anyway, so Jess and Bunny, send me your address so I could send you the book. And it's up on my Etsy store now for everybody else. And thank you for hanging out with me. This was a lot of fun. And me and my dink are out of here. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.